MindMed is the latest stock to hit the stock market. Previously, MindMed was an over-the-counter stock. Today, it was listed on the Nasdaq under the ticker symbol MNMD stock ticker. Kevin O'Leary is a big believer of their product and an investor in their company since it was an over-the-counter stock. Mind Medicine Inc. operates as a neuropharmaceutical company that discovers, develops, and deploys psychedelic medicines to improve health, promote wellness, and alleviate suffering. The firm develops a non-hallucinogenic version of the psychedelic ibogaine. The company was founded in 2019 and is headquartered in Toronto, Canada. Last year, I found out about this company and thought it was interesting. I'm not a big fan of over-the-counter stocks, so I dismissed it until now. I think this is a great penny stock opportunity. If you're invested or thinking of investing into high-growth penny stocks, you don't want to miss this. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified for my latest videos. If you want to get 2 free stocks, try Webull. Get 2 free stocks when you deposit $100 or more. To get the most up-to-date high-growth stock news, my latest buy and sell alerts, and smart money market sentiment, check out my Patreon. It comes with private Discord and a full range of server benefits. All the links will be below under the description of this video. On April 23rd, this article was released. MindMed stock, 7 things to know about psychedelic biotech MindMed ahead of its Nasdaq listing. MindMed, the over-the-counter stock, soared on Friday as a penny stock prepares for its uplisting to the Nasdaq exchange from the over-the-counter markets. The changeover will take place on Tuesday. That was today. This will also have a switching away from its current ticker in favor for the new MNMD stock ticker. The company will also continue to trade its shares on the NEO exchange under the MNMD stock ticker. The NEO exchange allows the stock to continue trading in Canada and Germany. MindMed is a clinical stage psychedelic medicine biotech company. Its focus is on discovering, developing, and launching psychedelic-inspired medicines. The company's pipeline includes treatment based on psilocybin, LSD, MDMA, DMT, and an ibogaine derivative, 18-MC. J.R. Aron, co-founder and CEO of MindMed, had this to say about the news pushing MMEDF stock up today. We believe this listing will increase our visibility in the marketplace, improve liquidity, broaden and diversify our shareholder base, and ultimately enhance long-term shareholder value. I would like to thank our employees, management, directors, and our many collaborators for their hard work in making MindMed a member of the Nasdaq exchange. An important step that will help facilitate our mission to discover, develop, and deploy psychedelic-inspired medicines and therapies to address addiction and mental illness. MMEDF stock is seeing heavy trading on the uplist news. As of this writing, more than 8.7 million shares of the stock have changed hands. That's an impressive increase over its daily average trading volume of 2.7 million shares. MMEDF stock was up 45.5% Friday afternoon, but is only up 6.5% since the start of the year. Let's take a look at what Kevin O'Leary had to say about the company last year.
Big news out of MindMed this morning, pre-market. They've announced the acquisition of a series of trials, clinical trials, series 2 trials in Basel, Switzerland. It's significant because the birth of LSD is actually from there. That's where it was discovered or manufactured, if you want to call it that. And the science there is the most advanced in terms of research. And so MindMed now has on its balance sheet a whole bunch of clinical trials for anxiety. Talk about a solution. Right now it's Xanax. And that's for me, my personal opinion, that's a bad drug, because if you combine it with alcohol, you can have some fatal outcomes. It's terrible. But if microdosing LSD can solve for anxiety, we're going to have millions of people with tremendous anxiety for the next, 8, 10, 12. It could be a long, long time. What's happened here is people have a lot of angst, and we're looking for medicines that can solve without having horrific side effects. And that's why the whole psychedelics as medicine industry is emerging, of which MindMed is one company. I have chosen MindMed for my investment or portfolio for one singular reason. The board, shook my hand and said they will never be involved in anything to do with recreational psychedelics. I don't want anything to do with that. I want medicines only. I like what they're doing. I think they're one of the most successful in terms of bringing an IPO into the market here at a time when the markets have been roiled. They've stayed on message. Today's new announcement is huge. I mean, they've got a lot of opportunities here to bring medicines forward that have tremendous upside and are worth. And the way I like to look at this investment, I tell everybody to ask me about MindMed. It's binary. It's either a zero or it's huge. One of the two. Those are the only two outcomes, because if any of these medicines work, the markets are billions in size. And I'm willing to take a chance, and I've gone long, and I'm just waiting for the scientists there to bring forward these trials. Now we've brought all these phase 2 trials in Switzerland forward on LSD for anxiety. I'm excited about it.
It's an interesting time, obviously, in a very interesting space. You mentioned one already, but in the near term, are there any other kind of milestones maybe with MindMed or even in the space in general that you're kind of eyeing off in the future as potential to be significant?
Well, all of these companies are bringing forth medicines to trials to FDA approval. So in any case, when you're bringing a new molecule, you're bringing a new medicine, you want to watch the milestones of trials. The companies that are going to be successful here will be doing the announcements like MindMed did. They just acquired a whole series of second phase. Now we got to go to third phase. You want to be watching the news coming out of the companies and the scientists and the new molecules and the new trials and the new drugs they're bringing forth for the whole industry. And so you can't just sit on your laurels here. You have to bring forward trials and you have to bring forward science, and you want to see what those results are. So that's the whole metric for this industry. And I think the stocks are going to be volatile based on the outcomes of these trials. But if any of these companies can bring forward a solution for opioid addiction, alcoholism, depression, anxiety, the outcomes are huge.
This is definitely a business that is one of a kind, and just like Kevin said, this investment is binary. It's either going to be explosive or turn into a big fat zero. The risk reward looks great. It's just something you might have to sit on for a while. Let's look at MindMed's philosophy. The focus on helping patients overcome rather than survive. They believe patients deserve better than to linger in symptom management forever. They help patients make breakthroughs that get them out of the symptom management cycle that's all too commonplace in mental health care. Some of their current treatments help those with opioid addiction, anxiety, and adult ADHD. They are building a community with high standards of efficacy and compassion. They hold themselves and their partners to the highest standards of efficacy and compassion so that they can progress the industry and patient outcomes faster. MindMed is partnered with the Liechti Lab Professor Dr. Matthias Liechti, the world-leading psychedelic pharmacology and clinical research group at University Hospital Basel in Switzerland. This collaboration includes exclusive rights to data, compounds, and patents associated with the research on LSD and other psychedelic compounds. MindMed is funding the launch of a clinical training program at NYU, Long On Health, that aims to facilitate the recruitment and training of more psychiatrists and clinical investigators in delivering psychedelic-assisted therapies and psychedelic-inspired medicines. In preparation for future deployment of these medicines, it is imperative to get psychedelic substance in front of clinical researchers and give them the resources they need to help clarify the path forward. MindMed is collaborating with Maastricht University in the Netherlands to undertake a Phase 2A clinical trial for microdosing LSD for adult ADHD. The proof of concept study is planned to take place at 2 trial sites, including Maastricht University. The principal investigator of this study is Kim Kuipers, one of the world's top psychedelics microdosing clinical researchers. The trial is scheduled to begin at the end of 2020. They offer a complete toolset, not just a pill. They are not just another pill to manage symptoms. They offer a toolset from breakthrough medicines and technology to compassionate therapy for patients and therapists that accounts for the entire complex patient journey. They are a new kind of pharma company. They believe that, as a society, they are at the start of a paradigm shift in mental health. They want to lead the way in doing it right. That means they are community-focused, honest, and transparent. Together, they can improve our collective mental health. In this article that was released today, it talks about some of the things that the previous article covered with some additional notable details, such as the proliferation of MindMed stock and other psychedelic stocks is similar to that of marijuana stocks in the US and Canada. Many marijuana stocks rode a wave of initial hype that crashed and losses endured. However, anticipation has grown for more widespread legalization in the US. Voters in Oregon in November voted to legalize the use of psilocybin in therapy, In 2019, Denver residents voted to decriminalize psilocybin mushrooms. The City Council in Oakland, California also voted in 2019 to decriminalize the substance, but regulations on how therapy would work still need to be hammered out. Drug trials are still ongoing, and full approval by the FDA and other regulators across the globe isn't guaranteed. Along with MindMed stock, Atea Life Sciences, a company that backs a handful of psychedelic drug developers and which is turned back by billionaire investor Peter Thiel, has filed for an IPO. The company will trade on the Nasdaq Global Market under the ticker symbol ATAI. Compass Pathways, CMPS, which is developing a therapy that uses synthetic psilocybin, began trading in September on the Nasdaq Global Market. Compass Pathway in March said it was granted to 2 U.S. patents that covered oral formulations for the therapy, intended to treat severe form of depression. Earlier last month, Compass said it was on track to report data from a phase 2b trial of the therapy, Comp 360, by the end of this year. As you can see, this is a new space of medicine. You also have billionaires like Peter Thiel involved in this new space. I can't wait to see his Atea Life Science stock hit the markets. Another notable stock to consider is Compass Pathways. Compass Pathways seems to be ahead of the game with 2 US patents. These are the top 3 psychedelic stocks to have on your radar. Let's take a look at some price targets. The ticker symbol for MindMed is MNMD, and it opened today at 569. It hit a high of 577 and it closed at 375. Just like any other IPO, we had some wild swings. The current market cap sits at 912 million. This end of the day pullback looks great. I bought a few shares today at 475. I think anything under $5 is of great value. This is a new company with great potential, and once investors begin to find out about it, it will definitely see some price appreciation.